Hey guys, welcome back to another video in the r/EntitledParents subreddit. Today I have two Entitled Parents stories for you involving a tinfoil hat Karen that nearly kills her own son because she doesn't believe allergies are real, and an entitled woman that demands a refund on a bike, then ends up with a criminal record as well as owing $2,000. Instant karma is just the best, isn't it? But without further ado, let's jump into the stories, shall we? I got out of the hospital and EM sent me right back. I just got out of the hospital for extensive knee surgery, and walking out of the door of the hospital reminded me of this story. Important things to note. I have a severe allergy to cashews. It's bad enough that 1/100th of one will kill me if I'm not treated properly and quickly. Nowadays, I always make sure to have an EpiPen on me at all times, but when this story took place, I was a little more forgetful about it. I was 9, leave me alone, and didn't always have it. I have asthma, which can be a pretty lousy combination with anaphylaxis. At the time of this story, my dad was working for a company that treated him like garbage and wouldn't give him time off for anything except medical emergencies pretty much. This story starts about 4 days before my 10th birthday. A week before my birthday, my dad's boss told him he was going to San Francisco for work stuff. We lived in Denver at the time, which meant my dad was going to miss my birthday. It was upsetting, but I understood, and he said we'd have a party once he got back. While he was gone, my brother and I were staying with entitled mom. At the time, we knew she was a little entitled, but my dad trusted her to take care of us. On day 3 of my dad's trip, my brother and I were playing in the living room when EM offered us some granola bars as a snack. At the time, I was young and wasn't very cautious, so I didn't always read ingredients for things I was eating. Unfortunately, there were cashews in the granola bar, so when I took the first bite, I started to feel it pretty much quickly after. Within minutes, I was throwing up everywhere, in severe pain, and my throat was closing up. And as if it couldn't get worse, that was when I realized I had forgotten my EpiPen. Then, the panic and closing airways triggered an asthma attack, and I also didn't have my inhaler. So at that point, cool boyfriend calls an ambulance and I pass out on the floor. The paramedics were able to keep me from dying of the combination of anaphylactic shock and an asthma attack, but I did end up slipping into a coma for 11 days. This meant I was in a coma on my birthday, but I guess that was probably pretty low on the list of concerns considering they weren't 100% sure if I was going to make it out of the coma. So a week after my birthday, I finally wake up. At first, I was fairly calm about waking up in a hospital until I found out that I had been in a coma for 11 days. At which point, I started panicking and almost gave myself another asthma attack. Anyway, they kept me there for a few days just to make sure I was okay, and it was safe for me to go home. So we finally get home, and as soon as I walk in, I see my brother, my grandparents, my aunt, my uncle, my 2 cousins, EM, and neighbor mom, and her kids, who my brother and I are good friends with, as well as a big sign that reads, "Happy birthday and welcome back to the land of living." They had planned a surprise birthday for me once they found out I was out of the coma, so we went about doing birthday party things and hanging out. I got some questions from my brother and cousins about the coma, while the neighbor baked my cake. However, the only important thing that was happening at this time was the following conversation between EM and NM. Man, that must have been terrifying for him to go into that coma. I mean, imagine having to be that careful about everything you eat. Oh, don't tell me you buy all of that. What? He was clearly faking it to get attention. Everyone knows that asthma and allergies aren't real. Both of those things are very real and very serious problems. Whatever. You sheeple are just too stupid to see through the government's lies. Then EM just wandered off. I feel it's important to note that at this time, the birthday cake had just been put into the oven, and this conversation happened in the living room, which did not have a line of sight into the kitchen. After a while, the cake finally finished baking and we all congregated into the dining room to eat it. So everyone sang happy birthday to me, and my aunt cut the cake and gave everyone a slice. I was about to take the first bite when the luckiest thing that could have happened happened. I dropped my fork on the floor. At this point, I, wanting to act all grown up and solve my own problems, decided I'd go into the kitchen and clean the fork myself. Right as I finish and start walking back out into the dining room, I hear my dad yell, "What the F did you just say?" I run out to see what's going on and see my dad standing up staring daggers at EM while she cowered in fear of him. It was for his own good. It turned out that after the conversation between EM and NM, EM had snuck into the kitchen and poured most of a bag of mixed nuts that she had brought with her into the cake. How the F is that for his own good? Well, if he had eaten the cake without knowing they were there, he wouldn't have been able to fake a reaction, because he wouldn't have known that there was anything in the cake to react to. What the actual F is wrong with you? I was trying to prove to you sheeple that I knew inviting you here was a mistake. I figured it was good for the boys to have you in their lives, but you've made it abundantly clear that it's not. So what are you saying? I'm saying get the F out of my house and stay the F away from my kids. You can't do that. They're my kids too. That's right, everyone. EM was my actual mom. Not after what you just pulled, they're not. And if you want to take this to court, I'll make sure that you aren't even allowed in the same state as them. Now get the F out of my house before I call the cops. You just wait until my father hears about this. Her dad is very wealthy, so I think she was expecting him to help her get custody of my brother and me. We found out later that not only did her boyfriend break up with her and kick her out of his house, but when her dad found out about what she did, he refused to let her live with him, stopped giving her money, and said that if she took my dad to court, he would support my dad. As you can expect, she never took us to court. And as for the rest of the party, we just bought a new cake because nobody wanted to take the time to bake another one. We also decided to just throw out the pan we had used for the first one because she had put so many nuts in it that we were worried about it contaminating anything we put in after that. What a freaking psycho. I don't understand the logic in this at all. OP faked being in a coma in the hospital for 11 days for clout? Also, why would someone fake a nut allergy? Peanut butter is life. On a serious note though, I'm so glad OP has a good father, and they all knew cutting conspiracy Karen out of their lives was the best option. Good riddance. Yikes. EM demands full refund for a bike her son crashed. A little background. I started working at a bike shop about a month after the lockdown started. Bike shops were still open because supposedly they count as necessary transportation. Anyway, I had barely any school and my NTB team wasn't practicing anymore, so I thought it was a good time to make some dough. I arrived at the bike shop around 9 a.m. and checked in with the owner/manager. I was only allowed to work the cash register and some occasional customer service since it was only my second week on the job. The other guys got to work on bikes in the back since a large part of our business was bike repair. The day was going pretty smoothly. 2 people brought their bikes in for repair, and 1 family bought 3 bikes for their kids. But then, bum bum bum, she came in. This lady came in huffing and puffing with her 2 kids being dragged behind her, plus one of the kids' bikes, no mask and all. I'm like, oh crap, I can't do this today. Could you put your mask on? It's store policy right now. To my surprise, she said, "Oh, sorry, I forgot. Thank you. What can I do for you today?" "I want to return my son's bike. It doesn't work anymore." We don't allow returns on bikes, but have a 1-month warranty that covers minor and easy to fix damages. "Sorry, we don't allow returns. We will fix your bike on us if the warranty is still active." "Ugh, fine." "Okay, we'll need a receipt or proof of purchase." "Couldn't you just look my name up?" "No, I can't." EM proceeds to rifle through her purse for 5 minutes trying to find the receipt, and when she does, she slaps it on the counter. "There." I take a look at the receipt, and the date on the receipt was from 7 months ago. "Sorry, but you bought this bike 7 months ago." "So? Our warranty only covers 1 month of use." "What does that mean?" "It means we can't fix it for free." "Well, why not? Just give me the refund and I'll leave." "What? No. The repairs for your bike won't be very much, around $45. I don't want it fixed anymore. I want my money back. Ma'am, we don't accept returns on bikes. If you really don't want it anymore, you could donate it to charity. I've had it with you. Where's your manager? After she said these fateful words, something even worse happened. I had forgotten about the kids she had brought in. I heard a loud crash and look up to see one of our bikes that was hanging from the racks on the floor. Oops. What the hell are you doing? Don't talk to my son like that. Your son just knocked down a $4,000 bike. You're being so rude. My son didn't mean to, right, EK? Yeah, it was an accident. My boss bursting out from the back, wondering what the heck is going on. OP, why is that bike on the floor? This lady's son knocked it down. My boss rushes over to the fallen bike to assess the damage. The effing frame is cracked. This was a carbon frame bike, which means if the frame's cracked, the bike's done. This kid right here knocked it over. Yep. He only knocked it over because your employee was harassing me. What? Lady, I don't care why it was knocked over, but I trust my employee more than you, and I'm going with what he said. I won't make you pay the full price of the bike since only the frame is damaged, but I will need $2,000 from you. What? Why do bikes cost so much? You don't have to pay it right now. We could arrange a deal for monthly payments. I am not paying for anything. You should be paying me for all I have gone through in this shop. My son did nothing wrong. It was your stupid employee who made it fall. What? How did I make it fall? I wasn't even close to the bike. The other kid starts to cry because of all the yelling. Now look what you've done. I'm calling the cops for trying to cheat me out of money and harassing me and my kids. I look over to my boss and he kind of shakes his head, telling me to just let the cops come. Once the cops came, she told her bogus story of how we're harassing her and her kids and trying to cheat her out of money. She said I had knocked the bike down and were lying about damages to get money from her. She also said when she tried to return a non-functional bike, we rejected her. My boss told me to just let her dig a hole. When the police asked our side of the story, we walked the officers into the back room and showed them security footage of her son knocking down the bike. He then explained our return policy and our warranty. Finally, he showed them the damages to the bike that was knocked over, confirming that we were not lying about that. She was arrested and had to pay a bunch more than what she originally would have had to. She also got 2 weeks in jail for resisting arrest and lying to officers. Jeez, what a silly, silly woman. If she wanted the money for the bike back so bad, she could have just paid the $45 to get it fixed, then sell it online. But instead, she decided to be an entitled pain in the A, and now she has a criminal record plus owes thousands of dollars. Silly, silly woman. Karma sure is sweet though, isn't it? Anyways, that is all from me today. I hope you enjoyed those 2 entitled parent stories. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I truly appreciate when you do. And I will see you in the next Reddit story. Bye!